This is NBC Nightly News, Friday, April 1st, with John Chancellor reporting from the NBC News Center in New York.
Good evening. David Brinkley is off this evening. And the news is that the weather in March was better, which meant that the unemployment rate went down to 7.3. That's 0.2 of a point lower than the previous month when the weather was bad. In March, 500,000 people, nearly all of them men, found jobs. The improvement in employment reflected the fact that factories began to recall laid-off workers and the construction business began to pick up. There was also some improvement in retail and wholesale sales jobs. Here are two reports.
Morning, you stop them.
95,000 unemployed construction workers returned to work around the country last month. Among them, these tunnel workers building an aqueduct 500 feet under New York City to bring more drinking water into the city. The project was suspended a year and a half ago when money ran short. Last month, work resumed, but only after the workers agreed to take a $100 a week cut in pay.
Well, it was a tough thing to do, but we had to get some guys back because they were running out of their welfare. And some of them were losing their houses, some of them were losing their wives.
Well, it beats $95 for unemployment and food stamps, and, you got to make ends meet.
We're happy to be working. We're out almost a year and a half. We're glad to be back.
But while 300 tunnel workers have jobs here, the local union says several hundred more in this area are still without work, and there are no jobs in sight for those men. Robert Hager, NBC News, 500 feet below New York City.
The success of new shopping centers like Chicago's Water Tower Place was one of the reasons 90,000 people were able to find jobs in retail and wholesale businesses last month. There are 69 stores and shops in this complex built to house about 100 units. 4 new jobs were created today when the store opened, and the developers are not worried about leasing the rest of the spaces because business is good and getting better.
We're finding rates of increase of in the range of 7 to 10 or 11% every week against the earlier year, and this obviously leads to more jobs for everybody, and hopefully we're spiraling up.
5 more stores will be opening here soon, and that means more jobs in the retail market that already is strong and steady. Al Johnson, NBC News, Chicago.
The administration says that these new figures on employment show that the economy is recovering well from the winter of '77. And what does that do to President Carter's economic stimulation plan and its proposed $50 tax rebate? Well, it makes it harder to get it through the Senate, where some senators say the rebate is unnecessary in an improving economy. Irving R. Levine has been talking to some senior officials about this.
President Carter's budget director, Burt Lance, said that the improved unemployment figures may strengthen the argument of some senators that the $50 tax rebates are not needed. Lance said that the rebates are needed to keep the recovery going, despite today's figure.
I think that it shows that the economy is moving in the right direction, but we still got a long way to go. 7.2% unemployment still is a high percentage of unemployment in this country, much higher than we really ought to have. So I think that while we've shown some improvement, I think we need to realize and understand that that's still a high percentage of unemployment.
Lance and other White House officials have been told by Democratic leaders in the Senate that they now lack the votes to pass the $50 tax rebates. So the vote has been postponed until after the Easter recess. And today's unemployment figure may win more votes for those senators who think that the rebates are not necessary to keep the recovery going and that the rebates would be inflationary. Irving R. Levine, NBC News, Washington.
Another sign of spring, the president today declared an end to the natural gas emergency of last winter. That brings to an end the special procedures which allowed gas companies to buy gas at extra high prices and which compelled interstate pipelines to send the natural gas to areas short of fuel. The president came out for free trade in shoes today. He rejected a Trade Commission proposal that cheap imported shoes be restricted and said the administration would seek voluntary reductions in exports from countries which manufacture them at a fraction of the American cost. Bob Jamieson has more on the story.